June 22nd, 1941. Today marks the beginning of Operation Barbarossa. Our division crossed the Soviet border early this morning, and the scale of the invasion is overwhelming. The initial push has been swift and decisive. We've made significant progress, capturing several small towns with relatively little resistance. The Soviet soldiers we've encountered seem unprepared, and their defenses are crumbling under our assault. The weather is warm, and the countryside is lush and green, but there's an underlying tension in the air. We know this is just the start of a long campaign, and we brace ourselves for the challenges ahead. July 15th, 1941. The campaign is moving forward, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. The Soviets are putting up a fierce fight as we advance deeper into their territory. The heat is oppressive, and the roads are becoming muddy due to recent rains. We're facing more determined resistance, and our progress has slowed. The supply lines are stretched thin, and we're often short on food and fuel. The losses are mounting and morale is beginning to suffer. We're exhausted and frustrated, but we continue to push forward, hoping that reinforcements and supplies will soon arrive. August 25th, 1941. The fighting has become intense and relentless. We are now engaged in heavy combat as we approach key Soviet cities. The terrain is challenging, with dense forests and marshlands slowing our advance. The Soviet counterattacks are more frequent and better coordinated. Our unit has suffered significant casualties, and the toll on the soldiers is evident. The camaraderie among us remains strong, and we share what little we have with each other. Despite the hardships, there is a sense of determination to see this campaign through and achieve our objectives. October 10th, 1941. Autumn has arrived, and the weather is turning colder. The front lines are bogged down with mud and rain, making movement difficult. We've reached the outskirts of a major city, but the battle to capture it is proving to be brutal. The Soviet defenders are putting up a fierce resistance, and our progress has become a slow grind. The conditions are harsh, and many of us are dealing with cold and illness. We have to make do with what we can, often improvising with limited resources. The situation is challenging, but we remain committed to our mission. December 1st, 1941. Winter is in full swing, and the freezing temperatures are harsh. The battlefield is covered in snow and ice, and the cold is relentless. We've established defensive positions and are preparing for a prolonged struggle. The Soviet forces have launched counterattacks, and we are engaged in a bitter fight for every inch of ground. Supplies are becoming increasingly scarce, and the men are weary. Despite the grueling conditions and heavy losses, we hold our positions and continue to resist. The determination to achieve our goals keeps us going, even as the harsh winter takes its toll.